Hello, I'm Will Forge, and today we will forge, as in all other days. Okay, so I need to switch back to chat before people get in, and this is what we're going to be doing today. And I don't know, I know no one's in yet, but really quick at the beginning, we're going to be trying out some things that might fix the effects problems, because you can reset the map properties pretty easily. But what I want to do is try some things out to try and narrow this down. First things first, we have volumetric fog. And I realize that these special effects, like these little energy barriers, they interact with lighting. Even though I set them to try and be as minimal lighting as possible, lighting effects interact with volumetric fog. So let's try and see if we can turn that off. I don't remember when this started. It could have started around the time I turned that on. Okay, it does not appear to be increasing the amount of times that these effects are triggering. Okay. Of course, I guess it is possible that I'll have to save it and exit and come back in for this to take effect, but I don't think that would be the case. So I don't think it's atmospheric fog. Let's see, I had mentioned a few things that I was going to do in a message to another, actually to my, why is my music paused? That was weird. Okay, let's see. Okay, I see, it's pausing because I'm opening my, this message. Okay. Volumetric, fog, wait, nope, that's not it. That's not the message I was trying to read. Okay. Volumetric fog. Loading the map on a Series S. Right, I was going to load it on my console to see if it works any better. Anyway, aside from that, I was thinking about deleting or moving some of these. Honestly, if I just hide them, I won't have to delete them. So if I just grab a couple of them, right, and I come in here, and I just go like that, they shouldn't render, which means they won't be called to render, which means they should. Yeah, more and more I'm thinking this is a Season 3 thing. I know that, like, on a fresh map it would probably start back over and not have to worry about all this. I think this is not Season 3 specifically, but maybe the update. The Forge update. Boy, nothing is loading right now. Like, all my textures are terrible quality. I don't know what's going on. Kinda hate it whenever this happens. Let me go into it and see if that will help it realize it's not loading things correctly. Let's trigger some LOD actually. Let's see. If we trigger some LOD changes, then these textures might load in properly. Let's see. I don't have my chat up. There we go. Hey, you're lucky because Batman just finished. Oh, nice. Which Batman? Did you watch The Batman? The one that, with, because that is such a good movie. Or is it one of the, like, Batman, like, animated movies or TV shows or something? Because, my gosh, is that a good movie. I like it a lot. Huge fan. Okay, so I've got this structure here. Yes, okay, cool. Yeah, it's, that one is, like, honestly... Gosh, I like it more than, in some ways I like it more than the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy. Not every way, but in some ways I do. It's definitely, like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, it's just amazing. Anyway, it feels like the animated series from the 90s, Batman, the one that's called Batman the Animated Series. And that was a very influential show, both, you know, for everybody, but, you know, also for my own childhood, so I really liked it. I missed a few stairs. There we go. Okay, that's everything. Let's go ahead and shift it over. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn off magnets, hold it for a second, deselect this and reselect it, and then I'm going to try to snap this to the corner of the platform. And that should give me... Wait a minute, why is this thing's rotation bad? I definitely reset this thing's rotation and rotated it back to its... Oh man. Don't tell me there's a weird forge bug hitting this piece. Oh, wait, I think it was this way. Which would mean all the rest of it. It was longer than I originally thought it was. Yeah, it was, it is surprisingly long. Oh man, what happened here? Oh, I see. Okay, this was a mistake, apparently, bringing them all up like that. Jeez. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? You know, it's going to make this a lot easier to deal with. I'm going to go ahead and put this into a folder. I'm going to actually do a little bit of organization, because I'm going to drop this into a folder after selecting it all. And that way, I can select it all that way, without having to prefab it. Because having to prefab this would be probably very bug-inducing, because, you know, prefabs and dynamic objects don't like each other. Oh no, I think I didn't grab that. Wait, what block is that? Was that block just hovering there? Did I, like, not need it and I moved it and then I left it there? Yeah, I think that might be the case. I think. Okay, did I get everything now? Yeah. Okay, so this I can just stick into a folder. But yeah. Yeah, I don't remember it being almost 3 hours. I know, right? There's something in the way. But yeah, no, it's a really good movie. I watched a video where somebody was breaking down all the imagery in it and stuff like that. It's definitely worth a watch if I can go and find out where it was again. Because it's you'll like, you know you liked it after watching it, and you know you liked it a lot, and you know that it was because, oh, they made him look badass, and oh, they made it look really cool, and oh, they did it. It just feels like they did a good job. And then you'll be able to pick out specific key moments that you think were really cool and why you think they're really cool. But then if you watch this video that this guy made, it's on YouTube, that like analyzes it, I think it was a 2-part video actually. It points out all of the other ones that like everyone else was noticing, you know what I mean? To where now you get like all of it, and it really gives you a good appreciation for it. I know that that's just a, you know, an analytical video. That's how they all work for films. But it's just, in this case, I was blown away by how much I was missing, how many specific things where I was missing, because I was just immersed in the film and not paying attention to the cinematography. And the whole time I just felt like this feels like the Batman from the animated series put into live action without, and because that would, if you did that directly, it would become a really campy film, like movie, like TV show or film or whatever you do it with. But somehow they did it, and they used enough of the Christian Bale Batman, of Bale Man. They used just enough to of him into the mix that they ended up capturing this, like, it's not campy, you know what I mean? Like they stripped out all the campiness by putting in a couple drops of Bale Man. Let's see, which was my favorite up until now. So I'm gonna name this what should I name this structure? I guess Launchpad. I'll actually Building 2 Launchpad. That way, my Building 1, Building 2, and Building 3 will be right next to each other in the folders whenever I decide to do that. So, yeah, now I can just go in here and go boom, and it should select all of them. And then I can deselect and reselect whichever one I want. And I think that what I need to do is turn off magnets and just put the staircase into the ground. Ooh, that's not what I want. But I was just like, the whole time I was watching that, with, you know, with my wife can vouch for me. She was like, she was getting to the point where every single time I went to speak, she'd be like, yeah, like the animated show, right? Yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, just like the animated show. She was like, okay. She watched it too, but I was just, every single thing I said, I'd talk about how cool it was, and then I would say, just like in the animated show. It was so dumb. It was very, whoa, okay. Oh, did I not use this either? I don't know how I missed those. Did I just, like, somehow put them inside of other pieces and just didn't pay attention? Because, like, I know I duplicated that at one point, but I thought I deleted it. Maybe the delete button was bugging out last time. But, yeah, I don't know. Okay. But it was, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. And I think it's worth it to be that long. I think most of the time people are not going to turn around. They're just going to keep going and go up the ramp that's on the opposite side, because I'm about to copy all this out. And I'm going to mark this as set as working folder, so that every copy I do will be there in the folder. Yeah. So now what did you think of the film? Now that I just, like, I heard which one it was and just started talking. What did you think of it? Which Prey was on disc? Yeah. I didn't know Prey wasn't on disc. I think I actually haven't seen Prey. Actually, I could be wrong. I don't remember seeing it yet. But yeah, I've already seen Batman 2 times before. Oh, gotcha. So I assume you must like it a whole lot to watch it 3 times. I think, did we ever talk about it on stream? And I'm just forgetting. Let's see. Might be once. Yeah. Okay, so I feel like maybe I'm being dumb and we already talked about it on stream. Because now I'm getting a bit of deja vu. And it might just be deja vu, though. I had that yesterday where I was pretty sure it was probably just deja vu after a while. But do you... Actually, you might know this, Aaron. I shared a tweet that I had seen, right? Wait, why is this so far into that? No, that's not right. Anyway, I think I gotta adjust that. I got a question for you. Okay, I got a couple people just joined in too, so maybe someone else too. But Aaron, you watch a lot of movies, you get a lot of and TV shows and stuff like that. So you might also like almost like about as much as I do, but just different ones. So I've got a question for you. Do you recognize the line, "Well, well, well, look who it is, this guy"? Just random, like he goes to say, well, 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 look who it is, and then he realizes he doesn't know who it is, and he just says, this guy. Or some guy, or whatever. No? Jeez, why do I... It might have just been a weird case of deja vu, made me think I recognized it, but there was this dude who tweeted out that some kid in Glasgow randomly said it to him, and I was like... And he was talking about how he was a writer, and I don't remember who he was, or if he was a famous writer or anything, but I was just like for TV shows or anything, but I was just like, I feel like I recognize that from like Avatar, or like you know, like The Last Airbender, or maybe you know, like Teen Titans or something. But last night I was thinking maybe it was from the Spider-Man video game. Because that's a very Spider-Man thing to do, like saying like, well, 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 look who it is. That some guy, I don't know, like some random like mugger pops up, and you know what I mean? Like it's a very Spider-Man sounding thing to say, like you're actually just a small-time guy. I don't know why I even thought I was, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. where he's actually just dissing them. And I don't know. I feel like I've heard it before, but I was very confused because afterward I was just like, no, I can't figure out what it's from. My wife says she feels like she recognizes it too, but can't place it either. And like, it was like weird deja vu or something. Probably. That's probably all it was. Or maybe I met the same kid, and he just traveled from Glasgow to the United States just to say that line to me. Who knows? Never heard of it, so yeah, exactly. So it's like, It was killing me. I figured I could ask you or something, see if you knew. I'm probably not going to do water jugs. That's a little weird, but this little upward arrow could also, like, if not for the drop of water in the middle, you could recolor these to be like maybe red. I mean, it could just represent fuel, I guess, and like make them red to be like, hey, warning, these are not something you want to mess with. But I feel like they'd explode if that was the case, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, okay. So we've got this now going pretty good. Now this piece, I think I'm going to have to duplicate alongside this. These pieces, actually, they're going to rotate badly because they're dynamic objects. So, okay, I think I'm just going to have to position it on the other side the same. First I've got to reset their rotations. Let's see. Let's do it this way. And then we will magnet snap it into there. Nope. There we go. But yeah. Let's see. Okay, they should all be the same now, so it doesn't matter if I grab that one or this one, and they're the right height. So now all I need to do is rotate them to the correct angle and put them into position. Oh, what the heck happened there? Okay, well that's okay. They magnet to each other anyway. I don't know how that happened. These are still correct, so that's fine. And mostly I need to line them up at the top, because that's where you can actually see them side by side. Get rid of magnets. There's the New Alexandria music. It's very good. I like this one a lot. Okay. Yeah, okay, so there we go. We have a cool little catwalk-like structure. You can get yourself into a hill and like be able to shoot down from it. This is going to be lock-on rockets, which is what I was deciding yesterday, but who knows if I'm going to change that. I originally had this lined up exactly, but I might bring it down so it's the same height. We will see, because this is where you're supposed to load in to like actually, you know, flight control, you know, get into the actual cockpit. Or not flight control, that would be somewhere else. Okay, so apparently snapping to that point is not the correct way to go, because now it's totally off base over here, and it's actually a little over here as well. So I think I need to go in here and select this, and we will. Good, my movement is correct. Google isn't showing any results either, so yeah. And I bet if you, what I did was I took the exact line and put the quotation marks around it in Google, and all I came up with was that tweet. So yeah, I'm assuming that I just, like, I also tried to Google it, hoping that I could find it. I just figured maybe if I couldn't find it, then maybe it did still exist, but it was just something that was not so, you know, well, like, not so meme-worthy that the internet took it and put it up, but, you know, still. That was just my thought of if it was from something, then maybe it just wasn't meme-worthy enough for people to want to actually put it on a YouTube video or something. There we go. Oop. I think this is probably a good enough spot. And then I'm going to drag it over and line it up here and see. I think that's correct on the other side. Not quite. Okay. And it is... Oh, I don't have the scale on, that's why. I don't have a scale limiter. Okay. That looks good. Looks almost perfectly lined up on both sides. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So now we've got it like that, and actually what I can do is this side kind of pokes out into there, and this side pokes out here, and I kind of like both of those being there, but what I'm thinking about doing is adding another object to be like part of the platform. It clips into that one and just sort of, you know, fills it out, makes it poke out a little further, and then maybe incorporating something in that has this structure in it as well, to like maybe like a really big rectangle or something like that that includes these columns, which are not lined up, by the way. They are not lined up in any way, shape, or form, so I need to figure out a way to line them up. I also know that this central part is not exactly lined up left or right either, so I need to figure that out. But for now, I think I'll do that off stream sometime, because I think this is good for now. It would kind of be cool to set this up to look like a refuel truck, that this protrusion maybe is where the hoses connect to, which would probably come out of this piece. Why does this have a blood type? Wait, what? Is this a blood tank? Nope, not potable water. What does the B+ mean here then? I mean, that looks like the blood type piece that's on the arm of Marines. Maybe they just grabbed a bunch of various decals that they already had and slapped them onto this texture for this vehicle, but that sees really weird. Maybe that's what they call the Better Business Bureau in the future. That, like, instead of BBB, they just say B+. There's more than one B in this, so B+. Or maybe there's actually some use for a B+ involving in water, and I'm just being dumb, but who knows. So this should be for water. I mean, I've also got water tanks up here. Maybe they use some kind of hydrogen fuel. But anyway, and split it out of water. So the question will be if I should put it so close that there's nothing behind it. Like, I've got it at an angle now, but I could theoretically instead do it more like this. Put it like right next to the building. Like that. Like the driver could still get out because he was parked on this side. Assuming he's an American driver, which you can't see through the thing, so they don't have a steering wheel to tell us. But the point is that something like this might work. And then I could put a cable coming up there and running down here and coming over here. Which, and just like laying on the ground because it doesn't have to be connected right now. And that way, whenever it rises up, it looks like, oh, finally caught you. Hey, how's it going? Yo, what's up, Will? How's it going, Ripshade? Ripshade. Oh, man. I'm glad you explained. I'm glad you clarified. But yeah, let's see. Pipes, railings, sandbags, because that was me just being goofy, apparently. Okay, here's some wires. This one's a good pipe. I like this pipe. The only downside is it's kind of coming at a bit of an angle, so you kind of have to do this, and then you can kind of just bring it like this. Actually, it kind of looks like it would come out the bottom because of the way it is, like that. And then I could like scale it a little bit up one direction. And yeah, here we go. It's okay, I get it a lot. It's a cool name, Ripshade. I just didn't get it. It's all. Let's see. Oh, I mean, I eventually got it. I figured it out eventually, but then yeah. But yeah, okay. So, right now, by the way, we're building this. We're finishing this up, which I was doing yesterday. But I'm thinking that maybe this could work. Honestly, I could just put it back over at an angle at this point, because I was thinking about putting it right up against it and then plugging it in. But I'm realizing now that actually the angle was a good spot because because of where it provides cover. I really like it as a as part of the arena there. But this one needs to be... Ooh, that's not what I want. I wanted a world rotation. And this one can be like on the ground over here to sort of make it to where, yeah, you can go between it and the building, but you're gonna have some like weird... You're gonna step on some things. It's gonna be a little weird. But yeah. It's actually based off a comic character that I made in like 9th grade though. Oh yeah? That's really cool. The comic book character I made was goofy as fuck. Like me and my friends were making like a joke comic. So it was not at all serious, but that's way cool. That actually sounds really cool. It makes it like a great. It sounds like Slade, or and it kind of it makes me think of characters like Slade and Deadpool. Right off the bat, that's what I immediately think of whenever you say comic book character. Alright, so there we go. We got a bit of a hose here, which does in fact go too high. If I put a little team blocker, I could make that work, but maybe I should adjust this a bit. Not make it quite so big or off the ground. Might just have to do 2 of them, and not make it so thick. Or I could add another part to this truck. Let's see. Alright, there are other ones. This one's a really long one. Let's see. Haha, goofy as fuck, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, ours were like, we had, like, we had done it like the idea was like there were these characters that like pencil colors. I mean, pencil powers, like... Mine was the one that created the other characters and like drew them into existence, and that was a superpower. He could draw things. It was like chalk zone style. Like you could draw people. Any pencil he picked up, he could draw things into existence. And that was the very super original concept that we had come up with for mine. And then there were some equally original. There was the Eraser, and he was like an assassin, but also he had the ability to erase things. It was dumb. That's actually pretty cool. Well, I know, but it's also really dumb. Yeah, the Eraser, he could erase things from existence. And then we had one guy who, he just was this big bruiser with gigantic pencils in his hands that would stab people. It was all really dumb stuff. Each of us, basically me, my older brother, my little sister, and our friend who lived across the street, basically each came up with one of the characters. The Eraser, by the way, was basically just Cyclops. He shot a beam at people and it would erase them. And anything it hit, it would erase. It was just Cyclops from X-Men, but he just erased people. It was super original. But yeah. Anyway, let's see. We got these, this cool airplane. We've got this thing. We got the hose coming off it. It looks really kind of cool. I think I'm gonna grab the hose now that it's not causing any trouble, and also this piece and this truck. Ooh, no. Grab the truck first, then the hose, so it moves on a flat plane properly. Because I want this side to be the one that people use more often. Let's see. So are they graphite creatures that would leave smudges as they attack it? As it attacked, it walked. No, it was nothing that original. They just became things. It just became people. It was, I mean, I was 10. Anyway, and, the bad guys were ink related. They did things just like you'd see in Chalk Zone, to be honest, where he would draw wind and it would cause the bad guy to get flown off the building that they were on, or whatever. Okay, so I'm beginning to realize that this platform is not lined up with that platform exactly, so that these are being clipped into, which I saw that earlier, and I realized, oh, by the way, that blocks, no, those aren't necessarily going to be there. I just threw them there to see if it would work. And to fix it, I have to move these forward, including these, to make it work. Let's see. So now I'm thinking that something about this has to change because these don't go low enough. Like with these in particular, I might have to snap it here and then move it a little bit up. It was nothing super original, unfortunately. Just kind of dumb. Just kids being kids at the time. Can I get y'all's feedback on a map I'm working on? That would be cool. That's no good. You know, I did block it out with these actual like concrete looking blocks, but you know what I could do? That might... No, it doesn't have all the shapes, I don't think. But anyway, the gates. I don't know where they are, but there's the pipes, missiles, glass, garbage, forerunner, fences. That's it. The fences work really well for like catwalks. This is clearly a door. It has buttons on it and everything, doesn't it? Yeah, no one's gonna walk on that like a catwalk. Okay, here's a chain link gateway, like doorway, fence, single. That wouldn't be something the UNSC would put down to stand on, so maybe not, but if I could, it would be something like this, where I could even let's go to object. Why is it on 5%? Let's go 45%. And then 15. If I did this, then I would get my catwalk and my railing all in one. But it wouldn't quite be wide enough to fit the staircase. So I think the only way to do that would be to do something like this, and then you have this weird gate coming down the side, so that's not going to work. Published as Facility Whip under Sparky117. Okay. Cool. Also, if you send me pictures in the Discord, I can show it off right this second. I can just switch over to Discord and pull it over here. Do that a lot. I need to get back to Shitography Studios, what do you call it? Cell Games Arena, because I was in the middle of scripting that, and then I keep going back in and trying to figure out why the script isn't working that should be raising the thing out of the ground. It's just not. It's not functioning, and I don't know why. And the same script is working just fine in my waterworks for the pump shroud, so like it's practically the exact same script. So there's no reason it shouldn't work, but it just isn't. You said throw it up on stream? Is it in the Discord, or do you mean like just open it? Here we go. No, that's the stream announcement. Okay. You want me to pull it up on stream? Let's do it. I saved it. Let's go ahead and leave Forge and go into that. Facility Whip. There's a weird bug people are seeing, by the way. I made an idea about different cheese people with marinara sauce as they bleed, lol, and everything was cheese and pizza related, like pepperoni shields, and that Parmesan brings us like mozzarella. Nice. Sounds a little bit like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and except you know, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys where they always like shot cheese pizzas out of the trucks, like cannons. It was really weird stuff. Let's see. Okay, so I need to go to, I guess it's just gonna be in popular, or just search. Just search. Oh, there it is. Facility Whip. Look at that. I think you must have just published it because it's like showing up as the latest map that's been published. I think that's how that works. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do lobby options and say open, so that if you guys do, if y'all are on in the game right now, you can hop in and take a look at it with me. And I'm also going to turn on, let's see, machinima controls. So pretty much like anyone literally can just hop in and join me and jump into machinima cameras and fly around. So that'll be cool. Or you can kill each other. With it being a whip, you better have copy protected it. It's pretty rough still. Oh, that is true. If you didn't copy protect it, then other people could. If when they see it, they could save off a copy. So you might want to be pretty careful about that. Parmesans versus the mozzarella people. Well, nice. But yeah, that sounds amazing. As a kid thing, I mean. There's a lot of dumb ideas like that you can, like my pencil one, that you could probably get a good creator from like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, and they could actually turn it into something really good. But yeah, I'll never understand publishing a whip map. I mean, if the idea is to show it off to people on streams, like he might be letting other streamers know too. That's pretty cool looking. Let's see, glass. That's what I'm saying, Lil. Only publish to share it. Cool. Cool. Arrows saying down. Jump down there. We've got ourselves a, what do you call it? A forklift. Some doorways to the outside. I thought this one was crooked, and then I realized the whole wall actually tilts. And now I understand. Okay. Cool, cool. Feels like you're at the stage where you've arted a block out. And that makes sense. And then you've got a few places like here where you already did beauty corner, kind of almost, like almost completely finished the beauty corner and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Crane, crane. So I like it. What is that piece? Now I'm like, what piece is that? Did you, I'm doing as a forger now. For a second there. Is that a bunch of smoke, like mist you put out there? That's pretty cool. To make it to where you don't have to worry about. It is sort of warping. I think maybe you need to do a bunch of little ones instead of one big one or something, because, or maybe you have a couple of big ones. Somehow, I guess the mist would kind of come into the building there through the gate. What am I talking about? That's a non-complaint. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Those are cool. I like the way you do those headlights. Those are really cool. Is this a computer screen or something else? Sniper. This would be a very tight map to use a sniper on. I feel like it would, it's like a super tight map to use a sniper on. What is it supposed to be? Aaron was asking. Only published share. See, the mist wasn't something I added intentionally. The one that comes inside here. Yeah, I think that out there was probably intentional. But if you do a bunch of smaller ones instead of like larger ones, what they do is they billboard, so that means they always face toward the screen. And then they, a billboard is an isometric image. It always faces the screen. Actually, isometric is something about the camera, the angle of the corner. Anyway, the point is, yeah, it's always faces the screen. So whenever you walk around it, it'll turn with you, and it'll fill the area with fog like that. So if you put a bunch of smaller ones, if it does come in, you'll only see like a little bit right at the fence. But if you put some bigger ones, it might turn big enough to come all the way in. It looks like a teleporter, and I want to go through it, but I don't know if it's two-way, and I also want to go down this ductwork. So I'm going to hop down the ductwork instead. With my sniper rifle and go into close quarters. Okay, let's see. This is pretty cool. It's like underground area, and you got to where like you come out and immediately get hit by these lights, but not like blindingly, which is pretty cool. If you let's see. If you come around here, you can see all this. Oh, is this the other side of that teleporter? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. So it is two-way. It comes out here. Is it the same on both sides? Like, have I seen almost half of the map at this point, or is it different on the other side? Is it asymmetrical? I think it is asymmetrical because This side definitely looks different. Got a teleporter there.
S7 sniper inbound.
Spanker. That's what I was thinking. This looks more like an infection map. This would be a really cool
S7,
infection map, actually.
sniper
Yeah. This one would be great on infection. That's a really bright light from over here. Is that because of volumetric fog? Like, what's causing that? Do you guys know how to help him fix that? I forget. Is that something to do with volumetric fog, or is it like you have to change the source size of the light to be really big or something? I forget how to fix that right this second. Let's see. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. Little server room, awesome. Is that glassy or is it just a jump out? It's just a jump out. That means you can... Ooh! This has electricity coursing through it. Don't go in the water. It kills you. Fog doesn't show up for me. Ah. Interesting.
Overshield acquired.
I wonder if that's a weird bug or something. I like this area, it's very cool. So is this what they built the facility around? Is this also where the infected would come from? Is this block not supposed to be here, or is it the start of a secret door that's gonna be there? Let's see, like a wall that rotated. Okay, so there's the cables that are electrocuting the ground. That's really cool. And what was this, a part of the walkway, or where's this chunk that's like broken? Is that like something that collapsed? Ah, part of the roof. I see, very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of really dense it looks like either volumetric fog or just you set the settings for the distance of the fog. Just be a certain way, and it is whenever that fog hits, like as soon as it's not on the light, it's fine. Whenever that red fog hits, it just blinds it. And I think you have to change the source light size or something about the intensity of the fog, and that should fix that. I'm pretty sure. Cool cables. Looks like it's not coming from anything, so maybe put something there to make it look like it's coming out of, even if it's just something really small to look like a wall outlet. And then like maybe bury this in so it looks like it's underneath these rocks, kind of thing. Oh, it is supposed to be coming out the same cables. Okay, gotcha. So yeah, right. Well, back to Will's map. Yeah, I think I've looped at this point because this is the underground area where the ductwork was. Yeah, there we go. I feel like there should be a way back up right here. Do you have grapple shot or repulsor? Because if you have grapple shot or repulsor, that'll do it. Especially if you make it something that can be found down here in the lower area really easily. But without like a crouch jump, like skill jump here, I feel like it's a little weird that there's not at least one way back up right here. Because if you got a shotgun, you'd just be running and hiding at that point, you know what I mean? But then this downstairs kind of implies you should be using a shotgun because it's got these really tight corridors. So it's like this should be where you have a shotgun, and yet whenever you come out here, there's no way to sort of engage the people that are up there that I'm seeing right now, unless that little lip. If I can get onto that little lip from here, maybe. Yeah, I don't think I can make that jump, but maybe. Yeah, definitely can't do it right there, but I don't think I can get it from here either. Okay. Yeah, no. So yeah, I think there should be a way up right there. There's a tip. This is my take. This map's definitely not for Slayer. Not yet. There's a jump up from the rock. Oh, gotcha.
Overshield
Yeah, I think that the if it was for Slayer, it'd be Rumble Pit. Like this could be a cool Rumble Pit map because every area is unique, so every engagement would be a little bit unique, and you'd make your way around this map.
Available.
But I do think that you've got rockets and snipers on here, which are really cool for like a team base. But then Rumble Pit kind of, I think if you put snipers and rockets on a map in Rumble Pit, I think people get a little overpowered sometimes. But it also could just be tuning of how often they respawn and stuff like that. So that would probably be fine. So yeah, no, I think it looks really cool. It's like a really good like start to beginning to art out a block out and stuff like that and everything like that. God of War 5883. Oh, I just realized since it's open, that person may not be one of you guys. That could be a rando, and he might be expecting to actually be able to fight somebody. Is that one of you guys? Let me know. I was just about to quit out and go back to my map. So if that's one of you guys, I'll stay in for like another minute or so to let you guys look around too. But if it's not one of y'all, visibility is the main thing here. Yeah, the fog definitely makes it feel very what do you call it? Like very infection. But yeah, thanks for the feedback. I didn't mean to take over the stream. No, it's okay. I thought it'd be kind of cool to look at some. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I am gonna leave the game. I don't know if it was you guys one of you guys who joined in, but you'll technically probably still be in the map now that I've quit, because I don't think it ends the match. Yeah. Okay. Let's see while it loads. We have guests coming over today, so I want to make sure that they hadn't texted and said they were coming in like early or something. The one thing I like on here is that opening in the rocks above the map. Oh. Thanks for the feedback. Didn't mean to take over the stream. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, the rocks are pretty cool. I think the yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty solid like block out. I think it'd be really good on Rumble Pit because it's free for all. It'd be good for asymmetrical gameplay if like you're doing like one flag. It's kind of like a circle instead of like a asymmetrical like linear kind of design. So it might be better for. It'd be probably good for asymmetrical for territories, maybe. I really wish they had a game mode where territories, except for like whenever you take a territory, all the spawn points inside that territory are now under your control, and I could script that really easily. But yeah, like that's where you're like all this there'd be an area around each territory. Whenever you capture one, you would own that territory like Battlefield. And I also feel like that would fit really well with a tactical slayer style of TTK, because that's how Battlefield does it, and it works really well for Battlefield. So I bet it would work really well in Halo. Will mentioned above that AZ Wilco has seen my map on my streams, and maybe he could help nail the lunar moon aesthetic. Yes, that's true. I am going to do that eventually. Like actually do that art on that map. So that'll be really cool to show off at some point too. I know we just showed off someone else's map, and I'm actually going to work on yours, Ripshade, so it was kind of, and I don't think I've shown it off on stream yet, so it's kind of funny, in a way. Like, funny as in weird, not funny as in haha. Like, I feel like I probably should have shown off your map at some point, on stream, but we will definitely get to it, so I'm just, oh. What's going on? Oh, did you put your arm inside your strap on your swing? There you go. Is that better? She put her arm up under the swing strap, and she was not happy about it. Oh, she just wants out of the swing. Okay, that's kind of going to become my cue to have to get off early today if I have to. But let's see if she doesn't. If she's not going to be happy about it. Oh, you're good, man. Finish your stuff first. Okay, well, thank you very much. Let's see. I think that is probably good. Let's see. Yes, it wasn't super precise. I didn't even use mouse and keyboard, but I kept it straight. Nope, I did not keep it straight enough. I need to bring it to the right to line it up again. Which is fine, because at least I selected this, this here, oh wait. I thought I'd selected the ladder. Oh, it's that side. No, it's that one. Dang it, man. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, Control W. Can barely see that through the location thing, because I need to get a good angle. This is gonna be tough. Go into shower. Okay, well, you go shower. I don't know if I have to get off just yet, actually. But I also need to go shower at some point before my guests get here. It's one of the things I need to get done before they get here. And stuff like that. So, let's see. Now, the real question is this staircase getting too close? Because that was why I put it there, where it was. And if this is fine, which it wouldn't be, it's not necessarily, but it would be if I can add just enough onto the end to sort of be like that part of that thing, you know what I mean? Like to mirror the lower area. So I would need a specific piece, which I know there is a slope that would work for that. Oh, it's not even really lining up with that, is it? But I could put a piece that kind of matches that. Because the other staircase below is a little bit... Wait, what? Okay, I got something wrong going on here. I don't know if you noticed that, if you guys see this. Love how technical you are with everything. Your mind definitely is on a different level. Well, thank you. Oh, you mean like thinking of how it like how it would function if it was a real building, combined with I forgot to copy that over the other side. Combined with like how it would look for or how it would work as a actual playable map at the same time. That is kind of my specialty, and I think it comes from ADHD. That I'm hyper focusing on these kinds of concepts, and it's making my brain just like be like really honed in on it. But yeah, so I'm noticing that something is wrong with, yeah, that's it. Okay, there it is. From here on up, you can see it's off on these lines. So I forgot I need to drag that over. I knew about that yesterday, but I forgot about it since then. So everything else above that I think is lined up pretty good now. I just need to grab everything that's above that, and I need to remember every single piece that is above that, or else I'll end up forgetting something and leaving it behind. You know what I should do? I'm just going to prefab this for a second so that I can reselect it easier, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, I want to put a block. I need like a column or something of, like I do, like I've been doing in the past. Put like a column, and then make that column snap to there, and then I'm going to move it with everything else, and, well, I'm going to duplicate it and put a second one in the same spot, and I'm going to move it with everything else, or move the second one with everything else, and then if I do something wrong, like if I leave anything behind, I'm probably going to move that thing, because it's just kind of in a weird spot, just slapped in. And, oh, I just added it to the prefab. I need to ungroup the prefab. Basically, if I put something in the wrong spot, I can reselect. I'll move one of them, but not the other one. So I can select anything I leave behind and the old one, and move it and snap it into position at the other one, and it will have effectively moved everything with these. So yeah. Okay, just everything you think of, everything, and know a lot about how things work, especially the very technical stuff. Well, I did appliance repair for, this sounds silly, but I did appliance repair for, I've got over 10 years experience in appliance repair. And so I'm actually like a master level, like a professional. I actually owned my own business for a little bit in it, for a year and a half. But the funny thing about that is that sounds silly, that like, oh, that wouldn't, I mean, how you're designing airplanes, but at least I know what all the basic parts that go into these things are, like pumps and compressors and everything like that. I did all of the important parts that are basically in every single machine out there, with a few exceptions, like they'll have different kinds of versions of these. So I can kind of like think of that, and then and like sort of intuit my way through what it would kind of look like, and then use their pieces to sort of like figure that out. So that's kind of where that comes from, just in case you're wondering. But yeah, let's see, I don't know where, or at least that's the technical side of it. And then aside from that, it's just a whole bunch of sci-fi. Whole bunch of consuming of sci-fi makes me go, yeah, you'd have something like this, right? But yeah, let's see. Okay, so I want to line up these lines with the... Okay, I don't want to move so fast, and I don't know how to move slower on mouse and keyboard. I kind of like how the controller pans you a little bit, like revs you up a little bit as you move. So I can like tap it, and it'll move me short distances. The mouse and keyboard, it's a toggle button, because everything on the keyboard is toggle button. That's actually, by the way, one of my main problems with playing mouse and keyboard. I would play mouse and keyboard if I didn't have to, if I could use a joystick as my movement, which is one of the reasons why I think on a previous stream I pointed out that if you just use controller on your left hand and mouse on your right hand, it would be like the best, the absolute best way to control a video game, especially a first-person shooter. And the funny thing is that is practically the Wii. In all practicalities, you're just using a mouse, but you're far away from your mouse pad. Your monitor is your mouse pad. You're really far away from your mouse pad, and you're just pointing it at the screen. But yeah, but you say things about how script loads stuff in, how things render, the types of objects on a dev level. Like, it's very interesting to hear. Oh, thanks. Oh, that too. Yeah, that's from being QA for video game QA for 3 years, and then trying to make a game in Unity for long enough that, and other various engines before that. I started off making my turtle move with logo, as they say. I believe it was actually a quote from one of the, someone asked one of the Bungie devs if they use C or C++. I hate that, switching to mouse and keyboard and that bug happening, because it doesn't undo. Anyway, whenever someone asked one of them, do they use C or C++ for programming Halo 1 and Halo 2, it was an old interview, their answer was, I use Logo to make my turtle move. And Logo is a learning program that, like, high schoolers use to make a little 2D sprite of a turtle. You learn how to do it. You learn because the image, the logo of the program logo is a turtle, a tiny little turtle, and it was pretty funny. I laughed at that because I learned Logo as well, and so I was like, I got that reference. And as a kid, I was like, yeah, I'm so cool because I understand the reference that Bungie just made. It was funny, and that to me was hilarious. Anyway, I think it was Jason Jones who said that, but I don't remember exactly who was in the interview. And so I've just been gathering enough information just right to be pretty good at this stuff with Forge at this point. Haha, that is very cool. Yeah. Yeah, so, and I was homeschooled, so the reason we learned to program as part of the school was actually because we begged my mom, look, come on, just we want to learn to program, we want to make video games, and she was like, all right, fine. So she went ahead and got that program. So we kind of have a good, like, scissor shape in the back up high, and down low it's a little bit of a more interesting encounter area, because I feel like once you dedicate to scissoring all the way up to the top, which sounded wrong, then at that point you're going to that's whenever you become like you're almost like a duck hunt, like you're from behind, like anybody back here who's like trying to flank, who is following you up there from a distance, you're like duck hunt. You can practically be hunted down. Or if the enemy has a wasp, yeah, you're dead back here. You've dedicated yourself to getting that rocket launcher, but you're sitting down. You're a duck hunt. You're running back and forth. In fact, we might want to add some cover right here that would protect against wasps, or coming down from that, something like flavor-wise coming down, so that from below you don't have any cover, but from the wasp's direction you can actually use that area as cover for a second, and they have to fly down and become on your level, and then you could theoretically jump off and try and hijack them. You can do all sorts of stuff from there, or at least you can shoot at them. And they're also so far down that, like, allies over there can, like, shoot at them and still use cover and everything. So yeah, that might be a good idea if we add some kind of cool UNSC accent of some kind. But yeah, what about a wall? What about a wall from the top of to the bottom, only in the middle back? A hole. Oh, gotcha. A whole wall from the top to the bottom, only in the middle back, like right in the very center, something like a column all the way down would make sense. Actually, should I put it? I got an idea. Okay. So to tie in this whole, like, upgrades as you get more buildings, right? And to tie in this whole thing where this is your Forerunner, structure, or your Forerunner tech, like, Oni is trying to reverse engineer Forerunner tech in this building, right? To be used. and we've got a grav lift here, right? Underground there, right? What if you, when you unlock that, a grav lift turns on here that will shoot you to the top, or maybe up to this part, right? And then we can build a receiver right here that's sort of poking down from it, that just sort of like, that would act as cover from the air, and then also you'd have like this straight shot up. So like if you get to the point where you've unlocked that building, you can also get to your rockets better. Would that be too much? Because now you are actually getting a wasp spawn, and also your rocket launchers are easier to get to, so you can take out enemy tanks. Would that be too much? A little imbalanced? Or should I, or do you think that would be a good idea? We might end up changing the order. Like, I was thinking this would be third over here, but after I've built them, we might look at them and say, well, actually, if you get them in this order, I might tune it a little differently so that it feels more balanced from one side to the other. Because, like, for example, you might need the rocket launchers more. I don't know. What do you think? Would that be too powerful if I did that? Getting that building right there might be a little OP at that point. I think if I did that, then what I could do is make the wasp have a really short, or really long, like, respawn timer. That, I don't know. I just think cover in the back would be a good idea, even if it's just 2 beams or something. Yeah, if I did do something like a grav lift, I would probably put rails on the left and right so that doesn't, like, you don't end up falling off. You can sort of like aim yourself into the building really easily. So then those rails that were coming all the way up would kind of act like columns. So that would definitely be, you know, that'd definitely work. Good question. I can put the columns there and decide if I want a grav lift later. So let's do that. I guess UNSC columns. I think they have specifically some decent columns. I was thinking about using this at some point, but I never actually did. It's kind of a cool piece. I mean, I might use it in the other building though. What's this thing? That's right. That thing's kind of cool too. I used this one in the Oni building. But I was just thinking that this, like right here, would actually be kind of cool. It would kind of get in the way of the staircases though, so never mind. Maybe this could go here actually. The idea being that, like, it could deploy supplies or something. Like, these could be, these might extend downward and be like access panels for something that involve the machinery in this that handles this. You know what I mean? Like something like, I know you're just telling, you know, just praising me for being able to think of technical things, and I'm sitting here saying it's some kind of machinery for this. But yeah, no, I was just thinking that, like, if it was some kind of like what do you call it? Like maintenance could be performed here, is what I'm trying to say. Or maybe like computer terminals could be on these whenever they descend down, to where you could actually control some parts of this, and each one of them does a different mechanical point. Because I was talking about this thing being like a mechanical arm that would come over and like perform repairs on your thing, and I was gonna like sort of put like a column going down through it, so it looks like it can go up and down, and then like extend in and out on it. But yeah. And that would be kind of cool to like have like, this is where you remote control it, and maybe have a terminal here, or like a monitor here or something. In which case this thing would not be here. But I'm actually placing things, I just realized, and not setting them to dynamic. So I really need to do that. And make sure I get them all. I also need to center things more painstakingly, but I'll handle that later. I don't think I left anything behind whenever I shifted it over, because everything still seems pretty well centered. So I don't know if I even need these columns that I had here anymore, but I'll leave them there still for a little bit longer. Okay. There's some bullet rubble, canvas bag, that thing, that. Actually, this is a really cool piece that you can decorate things with as well. And what I might do is make a maintenance hatch that could go, for example, right here in the middle, or somewhere else, maybe have 2 of them. But it can't be scaled, so wherever I put it, it actually kind of looks like something would be on the ground because of the way it works. So maybe it would be up here, but we will see. I'll figure that out. Maybe down here on the ground here. That actually would look kind of cool. It'd make this base feel like it's not just a giant block, but something that actually has an interior. Hi, how's it going? You are back. Let's see, where's snapping? Where's my snapping point that I actually want to use? Okay, that would be kind of a good snapping point. And then I can use mouse and keyboard to turn off magnets and slide it back over and line it up, and it'll be perfectly centered with the platform. Ooh, my camera angle is not right. It's going to grab both the blue and the red, which is Z and X. Okay, so that would be on the ground, but I could theoretically put it this far down, and visually it would be fine, so I might do that, because that will make it less of an impact on you walking over it. So that would be good. Dynamic, and I messed up its location, because I forgot to set it to dynamic first. So I gotta do that again. Okay. Are you back from your shower already? Do you take military showers, or was it just, or did you just change your mind? Because I take like hour-long showers. I'm terrible. I don't actually take hour-long anymore, but I used to take hour-long showers when I was a teenager. Like, seriously, just like stand in the water and waste time. Military shower is, I guess, an American term, and it is basically military showers just whenever you're not allowed to waste water, and so you take like less than 5 minutes to shower. Where you get in there, you do not waste time, you move as fast as you can, you hope you cleaned everything by the end, and you deal with it if you didn't. Essentially, is kind of what a military shower is. It just means you go really fast, basically, and you take like no time at all. Because in the U.S. military, you're only basically allotted like 5 minutes to a shower, unless like most of the time. But yeah, what about instead of a lift, an elevator opens up as an that is automatic, or that you can call? I wish that I could do that, but I can't really do much scripting like at all, because Klen is going to need a lot of like our entire scripting budget to make the actual game mode, where you have to collect the fusion coils and capture the points around these power generators. To unlock these buildings rising up. So, and I don't know if you were here for any of me describing any of that. You probably have, but I'm just saying. I don't remember right now, because a lot of people will come in and be like, there's someone that's been in the stream before multiple times, but they just happen to miss one of the times that I described the game mode. But essentially, you're trying to unlock these buildings, and they will rise up later on. So that's why it's entirely dynamic objects, and why I keep on switching them over. I don't know if I did this one as a dynamic object, and as long as it's sitting here, yeah, I did. Okay, good. But yeah, so this is static? Oh, come on. What? Really? You just dropped all of my color scheme? Since when was that a bug? Are you serious? When did this happen? And it also is not taking. Oh wait, am I on the wrong thing? No, it's definitely on the right thing. Okay, this is weird. Oh, am I on shiny or not shiny? Like, what's going on here? I don't know what I had it set to. Oh, there it is, and then I do source value. Nope, not that one. Okay, go one more over. Is that right? Nope, that's the one I had as before. It looks like Halo Wars, and everyone's like, that's too green. I was like, I guess so. It looks like Halo Wars, and these are like RTS style buildings, so I was kind of like thinking that. By the way, if we have the budget, which is one of the reasons I'm trying so hard to keep the budget down. If we have the budget, when they add campaign AI, Klen and I were thinking that during the Slayer portion, we might spawn AI at some of these buildings to do stuff, like UNSC per team. But we don't know for sure. We do like almost like turning it. I'm absolutely, by the way, going to make a Hero Wars style map with the AI. I don't know if you guys know what Heroes Wars is, but you know what Dota is, so you know what Hero Wars is. Hero Wars is basically Dota, but with a single lane for the bots to run down, and then the side paths that you can take are more just for the players to take. So basically, it's almost like one lane Dota or one lane League of Legends, but with jungle around the left and right side. You know. Let's see, and I can't sleep enough without you, and I can't eat enough without you. Don't like sneaky shit that you do. What is Dota? Never heard of it. You've never heard of Dota. I have to assume that you're joking, Aaron, because I think everybody's heard of Dota once it became an actual game. But yes, and also I've talked about it before, so I'm pretty sure you're joking. I'm just being dumb. But anyway, the point is that yeah. So with so basically, I am absolutely going to do that, but we might incorporate a little bit of like, you know, MOBA style. Explain it to me. Oh, you don't. Okay. So Dota is the origin of League of Legends. Dota is the 3 lanes. Everything about League of Legends came from Dota. And the reason that that's the case is because Dota was a map made in Warcraft 3 that used the Warcraft 3 map editor, like we're doing with Forge, and they invented the MOBA genre. Would be cool if you could access that saber and fly around, but nope. Yeah, I wish so too. So Dota was, yeah, it's a 3-lane structure, everything like that. It's identical to League of Legends. And the reason that's the case is because the team of people, it was like multiple people got together and would like hone it and like like a professional development team. They were making a map like we were doing with Forge with like a team of people that would go in and like they would constantly create updates and like really hone in on the and balance it and stuff like that to make sure there wasn't an overpowered thing. And eventually they left making Warcraft 3 because Warcraft 3 was starting to not really die yet, but it was phasing out. It's still alive even to this day, technically. And then they got together and they created a new company, and they made League of Legends. Meanwhile, another group of people who happened to somehow own the rights to the name Dota, because they're the ones who maybe... They had one guy there that like created the first Dota map or something. I'm not sure exactly how that worked. They owned the rights to Dota, went off, and they created Dota, and now Dota 2, I think, is the current one. Maybe Dota 3 has come out. I have no idea. I didn't pay attention to them. But it's Defense of the Ancients is the plot, or is the name, and it's kind of got its plot is that there's ancient like trees, I think, or something like that, and you're trying to defend them. They're like sentient like ints, and you're trying to defend them. Okay, here we go. This is the actual. It's like actually changing color now, but yeah, that's basically what Dota is. I feel like that's not quite dark enough. I want it to be the same color as that wall behind. I think that's the one I went with before. Seems more like a space plane whenever you put it to a really, really dark color. And I forget what we did here. I think it was a team color. So we just need to put it like... Oh, not back. I think that is... Oh wait, we're on red team. Never mind. We need to go to red. Let's see. So that's sort of the history of Dota in a nutshell. But basically a MOBA style of mechanic will probably be incorporated... Maybe incorporating this map with some like... AI, but that's only if that kind of looked cool. I'm not gonna lie, because we're in the desert. Looked like very like desert Navy SEAL, you know, color scheme. So you know what game mode I wish would come back? Freaking Dominion. But imagine that with team-based AI that you could spawn in over time somehow. So having hunters defend a base, lol. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I would like to do something to extend this, or to expand on this. And here's what I was thinking. If we can incorporate it, the way that this would be balanced is, first off, killing the AI will not count to your score. It's like League of Legends. We do not... I don't want you to be able to gain... Once we're going to go into Slayer mode, I don't want you to gain a bunch of kills by killing the AI. That's no good. And not even like a quarter of a point or like a tenth of a point. I'm just going to let you kill them and they will not count. And the reason is because you got to kill the Spartans, right? no number of Marines you kill is going to stop the Spartans from winning. You know what I mean? So you've got to get enough kills with the Spartans. Anyway, if you if you have this building and that building and that building, then Marines will spawn inside of those buildings, and go into attack. I don't know exactly where I'll spawn them. Ideally, actually, I should have worked in a room with an energy barrier that they will come out of, but I didn't, and so like with a team blocker that only lets their units through. But I didn't, so they'll probably just end up spawning in like right in the middle or something and be able to be grenaded to death as soon as they spawn. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll put a landing pad up here and actually make them spawn in up here. And that would actually be kind of cool. But anyway, the point is, they'd spawn in the buildings. But if you don't unlock the buildings, the same number of Marines would spawn into your base. So even if you don't unlock these buildings, you'd have the firepower to aid your players to sort of defend themselves in the bases by actually by basically providing, like, let's say you got no upgrades ever. It would sort of be a balancing, not a full-blown like blue shell balancing like in Mario Kart, where like the person in last place gets the most powerful fucking like rocket launchers at spawn or something ridiculous like that. But it's sort of like a shallow, or like a sort of a shallow like raise of the skill gap, or not skill gap, but power level between the two bases. So if you never get any energy at all and never level up your team, then your team will spawn in with a bunch of Marines inside here, maybe even some down here, like they came out of these doorways, and they'll be able to sort of help you fight your enemy whenever they come over here to kill you, or they'll run out and they'll come after, and they're going to always spawn and go after the enemy base to create some forward momentum. So that'll also create some forward momentum in that you would want to keep those guys alive because they're useful to have that firepower of a bunch of dudes like ARs or something like that, just shooting at enemies. So yeah, anyway, the point is, if you have all three bases, then you'll have like a bunch of guys spawning there and going that way, a bunch of guys spawning there and going that way, okay, there and going that way, and then but then they'll all spawn in here and still take the same paths if you there. But that's only if we have the budget. There's a good chance we won't be able to do that at all. So anyway, you said, would it be possible to create a map overview with a button that you could select points for AI to go to? Would be cool if you could command them. There is a person who did that. They created a map where they put little, I don't remember exactly how I forget exactly how they did it. I think they used the area names, I think, and they put them as a grid on one of the hologram tables, and if you pinged on the hologram table, or if you pinged in real life, it put a dot on the hologram table. I don't remember exactly what it was. It might have been a map. It was like a tactical map that would show you, had little dots moving around on the table that represented where other players were in the real map. I know that much. And I think that I suggested that they make it to where that you could somehow interact with the table to interact with the real world, and they said they were going to try and do that. But that was like really early on with Forge, and for some reason I haven't seen anything more about that. I'm really hoping they are going to do that, because I was thinking about doing that. And I've got like a whole bunch of write-ups of things that I could do if I focused my attention on it that I just haven't done, and eventually I'll get to it. I just, it's hard. This is the perfect column for what I was talking about, for wanting the column, and I wanted to put this piece in here anyway, so I'm glad that I just remembered about this. Also, my wife is pointing out that I need to go. So, in case you're wondering, whenever I looked over there and said okay, that was me looking over there. She was waving at me and reminding me that I've got to get going soon. So, I'm going to sort of place this here. And we're going to have a sort of grav lift piece. This is not rotating correctly. There we go. Now I think it's more aligned. Okay. But yeah, so that was basically I have a ton of ideas that I want to do, and that was one of them, and they were doing it, so I was like, oh cool, look, I wanted to do this, but why don't you go ahead and do this instead? Can you make it to where you can ping on the map to give orders basically to your allies by creating like King of the Hill zones by pinging on the mini map on the little hollow table? Let's see, could you create a map overview like a mini map, but it would just be a 3D image that you could then select places for the AI to go? I think you could. So I'm pretty sure when a player pings, can't you pull where the area they pinged? I'm pretty sure whenever you're in scripting, you can pull the area they pinged. I could be wrong, and so I'm gonna try and look at that. But I think that would be too much scripting for this particular map. But this map would be a good base to... One thing I planned on doing with this map, by the way, was also to use it and make like just a regular big team battle version of this map, where I just set everything up and make it all spawn in from the start and just make that. And then we wouldn't use any of our scripting for our fancy game mode. And if that's the case, then I could easily... you know, that's something that like they might actually put into a matchmaking. Jeez, I need to switch my location here. They might actually put this into matchmaking if it doesn't have some weird game mode attached to it. You know what I mean? Or not necessarily matchmaking, but maybe in you know, maybe they'll recommend it or whatever. They might recommend it if it has the fancy game mode. But the point is that that was a thought I had. And when I do, I was thinking about using it as a platform to test out other game modes that I want to script. Heyo, Mr. Greencastle, how's it going? This actually is working pretty nicely. I didn't realize how tall these were. I always had them floating up in the air. They're actually pretty much exactly where I want them to be. Well, actually, like as far as height is concerned, but they're also snapping really annoyingly. Sometimes if you flip them over and use the other side, the magnets will work better, but not so much here. Okay, this is kind of annoying. I'm going to grab these two, move them up. Gosh, it's so choppy all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on. You see how weird, really choppy it is? I think that's a, there's a bug between switching from mouse and keyboard to controller. But anyway, let's see, you should add some trenches for sure to break up the flatness in the terrain in some areas, or maybe when you control a base, trenches become available. I know one thing that we were planning on doing is when you control one of these and you start getting points from it, at the beginning it's just control it, right? And you have to defend it as it is. However, it's going to be finally arted. Like this is going to be here, for example, it's going to be kind of swamp looking on this one in particular. But the point is, you basically have to defend it as is, right? Because it's a capture point you're having to target. Once you get halfway through the map and the buildings rise up based on the amount of power you generated, and the Slayer portion of the map really starts instead of objective, we're going to spawn in, if you still controlled this at the end of the objective mode, then we're going to spawn in like cover, you're going to get... whenever you capture it in general, you're going to get respawn points that are around it. So like while you control it, it's going to be a respawn zone for you. But not very many. I mean, we may only do that during the Slayer portion if that makes it imbalanced to where the enemy can't take it because there's always somebody over there defending it. But anyway, the point is that we'll play with balancing there. But the point is that whenever it goes into Slayer mode, there's going to be like UNSC barriers appear and all sorts of like the barricades, you know, like the classic Halo 1 barricades and stuff like that are going to be around, and everything like that. But I am going to make this less flat. Like right now it's just super flat. There's not a lot going on. This was me showing off like an idea of what I had for like how to make it less flat, is adding things like this in here that will make, well, flat platforms. But in the end they make elevation to where like vehicles can't run you over if you're up here, for example, and stuff like that. But also just in general, like right here, it's a lot less flat in general. It's very flat still, but it's less flat. And I'm going to put like rocks and things like that will effectively create trenches, like you're saying. I built it so close to the ground because I didn't want to have to art out there so much. So basically, if I can just throw some dunes out there that look pretty good, then that's all I really need, and they will be very, very minimal on the budget. I wanted to use the art that really leverage the art that that 343 made for this map, so that I don't have to art it myself. Basically, by making it as it is, to do that, I had to bring it down really close to the ground, and this is all basically like this is just flat on the ground right now. Kind of. There's some dunes there, but I may raise it up just to make it have more height to it. Like for example, like these buildings. This thing doesn't have to be. This can be straight on the ground and built around it, like they leveled the ground to build. Could you make a tower where the longer you capture an area, the pillar slowly comes out of the ground, like you're unearthing a building or artifact? That is a really cool idea. For this map, I don't have that, but that is a great idea that if you don't mind, I might build in another map, or you know, somebody else might, since they're watching. That's been my take always, has been, you know, if you don't want to, or like if you wanted to steal one of my ideas that I haven't done yet, or that I do, just make sure you do it justice, and I'll be happy. Because even if I make that map too, like my same idea, our maps will still be completely different, and it won't matter that we both just made the exact same map practically. It's like writing a book. There's so many ways to do the same idea that there's no point in being too upset if there's another book out there that already did your idea. Like if you wanted to write Harry Potter, for example, don't worry about it. You can just write a wizarding school, and she's gonna, you know, she can't actually sue you for that because there was a book out before her that was literally 1-to-1 the exact same story as Harry Potter. So she tries to sue people all the time, and I think she's been successful a few times. But, yeah. Anyway, that'll help snap that. There we go. You do what you want with that, lol. I'm just an idea guy. I can spit them out all day, lol. Yeah, exactly. I figure most people pretty much don't care if people steal their ideas. And that's been my take as well. Let's see, if I come all the way down here, okay, I can get the height. Looks like it's actually just right. Wow, moving by units sometimes actually works. It works out sometimes. Okay, I don't think that is quite good enough. I think I need to start lining it up from the bottom and go up from there instead of the other way around like I'm doing now. Let's see, I'd write that down though as a map idea. Yeah, I agree. I have I have a folder of map ideas. I think I may have, did I show it off on the stream ever and just like talk about my ideas? Maybe I was keeping them a little bit secret and just talked about the ideas individually. I don't remember. But, yeah, that's a thing. Okay, end of stream alarm just came off too. So that's my phone and my wife are both like, yes, come on, you gotta go, you gotta get off the stream, you're going too long. And I think I'm in agreement because we've got guests that are going to come over eventually and we've got stuff to do. So I will have to go now. But, yeah, I'm going to definitely write those ideas down. I like the idea down of the thing rising out of the ground because it's just a really cool idea. Just so you know, I kind of almost have not the same idea. This wasn't going to rise out of the ground as you capture it, but this Forerunner pillar tower, this was not based on not Oasis, the other one, Cliffside or whatever. I came up with this right before Cliffside came out, and they showed off the trailers for it and everything like that. And I built it I don't remember if it was on stream or off stream, but I built it literally right before they announced it. And then like the next day or 2 days later, like I showed it off on stream, and then like the next day or 2 days later, they showed off that other map that they were coming out with. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So basically this was just a little staircase that gets you up here where it's gonna be the highest point that you can get to as a sniper tower, was the idea. It's still not even raised up as high as I was planning on doing it. When it is, it's gonna be like, this is the best place to go to be a sniper if you want to be a sniper. But as you can see, it's way too flat out there and you'll just dominate anybody who tries to walk there. Imagine scripting water to raise or lower. Yeah, I know we're gonna be able to do that once we have water effects, proper water effects. I'd write that down. Look, I've got, okay, one idea I had was based off an AI art that someone posted to I'm going to just talk about this and then get off, because I know I need to, really badly. Where is my actual folder? It looks like I lost my folder. Let me go to, I think it's just on my desktop, so I'll just go find it and reopen it. Okay, Forge Plans, there it is. So, in my Forge Plans folder, AI generated maps, these are the art that this guy shared. He had a bunch of them, they're really cool. I'm just gonna put them here. He had the art, I added the text, because his art was just there. He was like, look at this AI art that I generated off this program, and I thought they'd be cool as inspiration for maps for Forge. And I was like, that is a great idea for getting inspiration for Forge. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do these sometime. And I was like, ringed by unique biomes, the structure serves as an environmental control hub. That was one idea. That's the stuff around it. Or if possible, which it's kind of possible, but I've put it off because it's not. It's kind of buggy. The inner grassy field is a tiny big team battle map in which scaled down players face off with vehicles within the greater arena style map. So right now you can scale vehicles. And whenever you target a player with scaling vehicles, it scales the player. And that was because, I think it's because they had the the Mantis, which was a biped. It wasn't just a vehicle like a Warthog, it was technically a biped, which is what they use for the player characters and for scarabs, which is the reason that I watch a bunch of Rejected Shotgun do his mods for all the different Halos, and he talks about how the scarab can't be used in multiplayer in Halo Reach because bipeds didn't communicate properly across the network, across the netcode. They weren't facilitated in the netcode. So even though he modded in the scarab into Halo Reach multiplayer, you can only play it offline. I just got back. What are we talking about? We're talking about other map ideas right before I get off. So these were the map. I think I may have gone over them in previous. You might remember them, Aaron. But basically, yeah. So you could scale. I think the reason you can scale bipeds, like players, by targeting them with the scale vehicle node in Infinite's scripting, is because they are leaving that in so that they can later you will be able to scale mantises whenever they add them into the game, which to me is the best indicator that absolutely they intend to add the Mantis to multiplayer, or potentially a new Walker that's comparable. But I think that the Mantis was one of the best glowing examples of success from the 343 era of Halo. The Mantis, the Sticky Detonator, a few others like the honestly I really like the the Hydra, stuff like that. There are a bunch of really good glowing examples of actual success in 343 era that I throw at people who are who just hate 343 entirely. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? They do make good stuff. They just tend to be too buggy whenever they launch, and that's really pisses everybody off, and I agree. Territorial lines, this one's another map. Territorial lines reach out from the central tower, drawn through solid stone. Was this some Forerunner sport or a warfare simulation? The destructive events erupting throughout would suggest a near lethal game, if so. So the idea was, I was basically going to make each of these sections like a territory, and it would change color of the lights based on if you're, which team is in control. I was really hoping that you could change the color with a script to the team's outline color that people indicate in their settings, because that would be an obvious, like a no-brainer, put that into the script so that we can do stuff like this. But instead I'd have to just pick red versus blue, and if you decide to make your outlines yellow versus green, you're going to be really confused because the yellow is where people haven't claimed yet. So that would be annoying. But anyway, and the idea was like some of these sections could like rise up out of the ground. They wouldn't necessarily be able to be these shapes like as random as this, because if they're gonna rise out of the ground, they'd have to be like hex columns. And then but some of them would be like, instead of that, like some areas would explode on a timer but only damage the team that isn't in control of it or whatever. So like you could lure people into the area, be shooting at them, and then just go boom, and it would give your team a point. But the point is, something like that could white be an unclaimed color? White could be an unclaimed color. Can you not set outlines to white? Maybe. If you can't, then that would definitely work. Anyway, so that's that one. I just had a bunch of different ideas, like man cannons and things like that could turn on. Basically, the map would start off as a big open like 4v4 arena, and as you claim territories, it would shift and transform and take on new life throughout it. And you would want to claim it to where, and each area, I was hoping I could make it to where it would take on the shape that'd be advantageous to your team, but detrimental to your opponent's team. So that if you take an area, it would become cover for your team with like a ramp going up to it, maybe even. But like, so you could get up on top of it as a height. But enemies on the other side that's just a wall now. So you can't, it blocks their progression. And now people can come up on top of it and shoot down at you, so you want to kind of stay back. It's a dangerous wall, So basically things like that were what I was thinking of building into it, so that as you push, you get more and more and more effective at taking out the enemy team, and then the enemy team would have things like, that's where I was going to reserve the grav lifts and man cannons toward the back, so that you could launch yourself to the other side and take some of their territory from the other side. And I was also thinking that some areas would actually add spawn points to your team, so that you would actually be able to like take a section behind enemy lines, and that would become a spawn point, a spawn area for your team, to where you're actually hitting them from two sides, so you could come back even if they're trying to even if they're winning this sort of push of war, not tug of war, it's more of a push of war. But anyway, this one was a forerunner structure rose across the waters in the wastes of this ruinous desert, periodically connecting with underground structures in a cycle. It's believed to be part of some greater superstructure of unknown purpose. I want to see a scripted fusion coil launcher. Yeah, that would be cool. I kind of have that now. It doesn't launch at the enemy, but you're right. If a fusion coil launcher, you could like somehow ping, and it would launch the fusion coils to wherever you pinged, like your team. If you pinged an area, and and maybe I could do like, if you ping an area, move an object like a pointer, an invisible object there. If no allies are in that area, then start launching fusion coils to that ping point. You know what I mean? I could do something like that with a script pretty easily in that map. And it would be something, if you would really want to take that territory and possibly shut down your opponent's territory. That would be something I'd have to make to where you could shoot it to break it. And it would become a neutral territory if the enemy blows it up, because it's so hostile. You know what I mean? But anyway, a forerunner structure rose across the way. So So the idea here was this thing, this ground thing here in particular, these looked like forerunner towers, like old buildings, right, to me. Or maybe banished, and this thing looked like banished or forerunner. I liked the idea of it being forerunner because it looked like some kind of like structure that would move across the desert to like do something. I don't know, maybe this is on a planet, not a Halo ring, so I couldn't use the desert biome. I don't know what I would do to build this, but the point is that the desert map is on a ring, so I can't use it. But that was one thing. I don't know why they don't have a section in your menus for the map, right, where you do the sun and the lighting and all that stuff. Why isn't there skybox setting, where you just toggle and change it from a Halo ring sky to starry sky to in the distance all around the map it looks like there's glassing and there's like smoke coming up into the air, and the skybox is this giant glassed planet where you can pick arid and it will be arid every time, but then around that you can put whatever you want. You know what I mean? I don't understand, bro. I've thought about that too. Exactly. I don't understand why that's not possible. Like, anyway, I'm pretty sure I could do that in Unity. That's why I'm like, I know Unity was built to be editable, so that might be why their engine wasn't built to be editable like that. So they'd have to restructure how skyboxes work, reprogram how skyboxes work to make that work. But I think that's a no-brainer. I hope that's, as Forge Lord says, top of mind for him. Anyway, the point is, the idea this would dig through the dirt. I would make objects that are like rocks and dirt and stuff like that would shift out of the way and then slide back into place behind it. But underneath it is a giant chasm, and it's got like this sort of fin underneath that has like a structure on it that goes between tunnels that run along the path underground on both sides, but only go about halfway. So there's a team on one end of it and a team on the other end, and it moves back and forth like a gondola from Halo 2. And it's just moving through the ground, barreling through the ground, and as it moves back and forth throughout the match, you'd be doing Slayer. But then I was thinking, in objective modes, there'd be a switch on it that would allow you to switch which direction it's moving and stop it, and then make it move the other direction and stuff like that, so that you could I captured their flag. They captured our flag. And they're, they captured our flag and they're trying to head back to their base, and they're about to jump into the gondola, flip the switch to stop it so it doesn't line up with that door so that they can't get onto it. And then they need to now board it to now get control of it, to get it to keep going again, and then so they can hop onto it with the flag and ride it back to the enemy base. Or they have to give up in the tunnels and go up onto the ground above, and we've got warthogs and choppers up there, so we're going to be able to take out their flag. That was the idea of this kind of map, is a very like a 2-floored map with a moving like gondola that connects both of them together. Where is speed boost and damage boost? That's true. Yeah, those. I bet they're probably going to make those be things like that. I think it looks like it says that somebody left. I think that Aaron was like, I'm bored of these. I wasn't here for this. But anyway, the James Atkinson Academy of Military Science teaches one must control the war that rages even while facing off in a firefight with the enemy. Simulate a war at your feet. Provide special objectives. So the idea was holograms on the floor and things that you do here do stuff, but you can't scale objective objects. I mean, you can't scale down. The interactive objects. Let me just skip to the one that I wanted to show you because I do have to go and I'm going too fast. I mean, I'm taking too long. This is the one I wanted to actually pull up. Golden sands that flow like water gradually fill the stone steps. Thought to be part of an early defense against the flood, the sands seem artificial and somehow sentient. The idea was this was the Forerunner experimenting with a gray goo. And if you know sci-fi, you know the concept. The gray goo is basically a very basic fluid structure that is nanomachine or bioengineered that just feeds off anything with carbon and replicates itself and is designed specifically to be able to bypass any kind of, cell wall membrane and stuff like that to just eat anything alive. And you can just unleash it if you were in a galactic civilization and an enemy planet was trying to rebel or something like that, or an enemy was trying to invade or something, try and take one of your planets, you could evacuate and drop a gray goo and it would just eat everything on the planet in if it works fast enough it could devour the entire planet. It's kind of like the flood, except it's not exactly like the flood. There are things about it that would be... The idea on this map was that these golden sand that they had on here, this kind of glowing, this very shiny golden sand, would rise up out of the ground over time. There'd be trenches, underground areas. I think I had 2 sections. This was another one that was like it, that was also inspiring it, where the map would start off as a standard 4v4, but over time... Let's see. It would be cool to make a map that when you control an area, the old area gets locked off, forcing you to fight closer and closer till one team's side gets locked off, round-based, I guess. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Almost like if you, like narrowing people in an invasion style of map almost, where you're taking areas, and as you do, it's deleting the outer areas, getting smaller and smaller. Is that what you mean? But anyway, so the idea is it's a 4v4 map. These golden sands that kill you are rising up and filling in some of the trenches, a very trench-based warfare map. And then some of the trenches will start to fill in with these sands as it kind of rises up. And eventually it kind of just buries everyone underground in the tunnels that are underneath. So the doorways will fill in with sand and that kind of stuff. And the idea was just animating rock objects that I could texture to be correct and raising them up and making them look like they're pouring down with sand texture on them and stuff like that. But whenever they had water stuff, then maybe I could actually set the water to look like sand in some way, change its texture if that's possible. Depends on what they give us for tools with the water. I might be able to incorporate water in and make it look like fluid flowing sand. But yeah, that's what I meant. Cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So anyway, this was a map that I don't remember what you said that made me think of this, and now I've taken so long to get to it that I bet you don't either. But if you rewind the video whenever I leave, then you can go back and find out what it was that you said that made me pull this folder up in the first place. And whatever it was that you said made me think of this, and I think it had something to do with the water that they're adding to the game. And that's why I was thinking about the fluid moving sand and stuff. Or maybe it was the object moving out of the ground. I don't remember what it was. You said something, and it made me go, let me go show this off. I could probably scroll up, but I wouldn't remember which of these messages you said that actually did it. You know what I mean? That made me think of it. But anyway, yeah, okay. Yep, that's it. I gotta get going. I will catch you guys later. But yeah, raising and lowering water, I think. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, you're right. Oh man, my hard drive is full. I need to start deleting my old streams from my hard drive. I have it set to record and to stream, so apparently I filled up at some point during the stream, and I need to delete hundreds of gigabytes of video off my hard drive because I don't actually need them. I never really edit them or anything. But yeah, I just do that so I can, if something goes wrong, I can upload them. But anyway, the point is, I'll catch you guys later, and yeah, that's it for today.